So and actually I'm working to make a book right now. It's been 3 years already, so since the start of the COVID, it's been a lot of time, of course, to sit home. And I've been fortunate to have this project to write. Actually, it's a sequel to Winter's Gate story. So for many years, I had this idea that I would like to expand and continue the Winter's Gate story. I like the mood and the world and this combination of this medieval world and these northern myths. And for many years, I pondered how to continue, but well, I was always busy, always touring and other stuff. So, but the world stopped when COVID came, and actually there was a chance to write this, and the Finnish publishing house Gummerus was interested. They asked if I would like to write a story, and I was okay. I had this idea to write sequel to this Winter's Gate story that they actually knew the story and liked it a lot, so they thought, okay, this sounds really cool. Write a book. And I was okay, I will write a book. And I started working, and now it's in a position that after 3 years, so long a story that it will be published in 2 books actually, because in total it will be over 600 pages, so it's better to have it in 2 volumes actually. And it looks like the first volume will be out in February 2024, so next spring or late winter. And in Finnish first. Naturally, I'm writing in Finnish. But, there are talks already and negotiations going on that maybe one day it will be translated to other languages, but we'll see about that. But of course, that's the goal, that everybody could read it one day. It would be really cool if most INSOMNIUM fans could read it, naturally. That's what I hope. So I hope it gets translated to English and maybe other languages as well. But at this point, it's really interesting phase. Like, we're designing the cover of the book, the maps. Of course, it's a historical story with fantasy elements, so there has to be a map. That's important. So we're designing all that graphical style as well at the moment, and I'm finishing the first volume, so the first half of the story. It's going to be about 300 pages, a little bit more maybe. So a lot of work still that it's ready, but looks like it will be soon ready, and the second part would be ready a year later, so 25 spring maybe would be published. And like I said, it continues the Winter's Gate story, but happens clearly some years later, or actually many years later. Winter's Gate was not tied to any specific year. There is no mention of any year, or actually any real characters that would tie it to history, like specifically. But in my mind, it happens pretty early in the Viking Age, maybe around year 800. But this sequel now happens around year 1000. And again, it starts with a historical situation that was really in Europe around year 1000. So the setting tries to be as accurate as possible. There are some historical characters like German Emperor, the Byzantine Emperor is mentioned there. The Irish High King Brian Boru is mentioned. Danish kings are mentioned. Many characters are mentioned there. Pope, of course. But the main players still, most of them are fictional characters, of course. And it starts as a historical story, but then, like Winter's Gate, like Anno 1696, background is in history, but mythical elements creep in more and more as the story goes on. So that's the kind of stuff I like to write, and INSOMNIUM fans might already guess what to expect if I say I'm writing a history meets fantasy story set in the medieval world that is for some unknown reason turned colder. So that's kind of one of the main points of the story, that climate has changed dramatically year 1000 and people can't explain what caused this. So there's this eternal winter in Scandinavia, for example. People have fled from here to live south, and basically in Greece, Italy, the weather is something like it's in Finland right now. So climate is much colder and people are trying to cope with this new weather, new world, and survive there. And with the cold weather, something else has also happened, and strange creatures creeping in the forest and causing trouble, of course. And one of the main things in the story, characters are trying to understand what has happened and why. Why has the world changed? Can it be changed back? And what are these creatures among us? And how do we survive this winter and this new world? And that's basically the setting point of the story. And maybe shouldn't reveal too much, but there are several characters there, several storylines that we are following. So it's a long book, long story, but yeah, it's been really fun to write it, and hopefully all INSOMNIUM fans one day can read it at least in English.